Alright, so I'm here with Hyperbolic Q.
Ça va bien, 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 bien. What's up, guys? We in this bit.
So the first one, well, actually, like, we talked a little bit outside. We talked about freestyle and the name, and how, like, right now, freestyle is kind of like losing its flair. And I think that's a really good topic for people to understand. So where do you feel like the direction of freestyle is going, and where would you like it to go?
Woo! That's an amazing question. Thank you, Slim. Thank you, Rena, for the mic hand.
Yeah.
The hand is amazing, by the way. Where freestyle is now and where's it going, correct?
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like freestyle right now here in America, and let's make it broad, actually. I feel like freestyle is kind of coasting. There's no evolutionary reason for people to allow experimentation to happen in freestyle. And it's funny because the name is free and your style. And we don't invite people's styles in because we want to have a reason, like, who'd you learn it from? What was this? How are you moving like that? Who'd you learn it from, basically? And if you don't have someone that you learned it from that was like an OG or somebody that's reputable, it's like, oh, well, you're doing something cool, but it's not established enough because you have to make it a repetitional thing.
Yeah.
And some people do that and it doesn't work out, but then some people do and it's amazing. We were just talking about Boogie and the slow motion aspect, and having people see that and wanting to illustrate that becomes a problem now even more, because we're like, okay, we want to see battle speed, we want to see people like literally in front of people's faces, and it's like now you don't have this time to be able to digest the music in a way you want to, because now you're playing for the crowd, you're also playing for judges, you're playing from Instagram, just hearing other things. Media is facilitating. I'm saying this word wrong, but facilitating. Thank you, son. Facilitating everything, and so there's no room at this point for yourself when you're dancing in your battle round. So I feel like it's very and kind of slowly dropping, and it's not going up. There might be little sparks from like. Just that kid from India, that was crazy.
Yeah, he was dope. Yeah.
That is what we need, more of that kind of unfamiliar territory to make it familiar. We call everything weird that people are doing that are taking their bodies and putting them in this distorted. That's actually should be normal, but we're making it not normal, and we're calling it weird.
Yeah, I was actually talking to my wife about not freestyle. We were talking about having your own style, or having a style, or what the style is, and she was kind of saying that a style for her, like, in order for her to really flourish in anything of a style, she would have to be herself, because you can't have a style if you have no identity. I think what you're saying right now about freestyle, I
Like a handbrake.
Shit! Come on, son, are you done? I think you know the idea of freestyle is it's important, but like I was saying outside, you know, it's been saturated. It's been taken to a place where now it's commercialized, and like everyone's afraid of that word freestyle, and you know, they kind of dread that word. I think freestyle as like a way of movement doesn't really kill anything else that is like a style orientation. Like, it doesn't kill pop and hip hop or anything like that. The styles are important because those are elements that, it's like learning martial arts, you know. You have to learn what that style of martial arts is in order to find yourself within it. And I think that freestyle is kind of like, once you've understood or learned these different cultures, or learned that culture, that style, you have the ability to take that learning and apply it to self, and that becomes the style. You're just moving within that. It doesn't have to do with a battle or competition.
Not at all.
Like if you enter a popping battle, you do popping. You enter a hip hop battle, you do hip hop. And I think that's why the scene is so confused right now, because people want to be free within what they're doing in style-oriented battles. But you can't do that because it takes away from, preservation of the style, takes away from the importance of having a style. So you have to make a balance. Like there should be freestyle battles, but they should be based on people's understanding of what having your own style is. Like, we have to have a higher education of openness to be able to see a level in a freestyle
openness battle. Literally though.
Like you can't just be like, I remember I was in Chicago, and this can't remember her name, she was judging, a bunch of dancers came up, they're like, yo Slim, so and so said I couldn't pass because I'm doing popping in a freestyle battle. And I was like, that doesn't sound right. Damn. And it's not the woman's fault for judging that way. It's more so the fault of the scene not educating what a freestyle battle is. Like, she doesn't know what she's supposed to be judging. She's judging based off of what she understands. If anything, she's in more of a right to judge that way than anybody else critique how she's judging, because she wasn't given those rules. And it's partially our responsibility, if we want to see the styles elevate, or if we want to see freestyle elevate, to educate the people that are in the positions to change lives, So that's where I'm at with that. But so the next question is like, where'd you get your name, Hyperbolic Q? That's what I was curious about. That's a personal question.
So, I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, that's so.
And super big fan of Dragon Ball Z originally. And I love the movement on Dragon Ball Z, and just the conversation and the styles of fighting. And they have a scene, a place in the show called the Hyperbolic Time Chamber. And so I was like, I love leveling up. I love the gravity of it all in there. And I always want to create something new. And I want to be moving at such a time that it looks like my movement is happening, but at the same time, I'm not even in the Hyperbolic Time Chamber that long, because the time in there, you can spend 1 minute and it's literally a year. And I feel like I'm trying to grow in that type of mindset as well. Learning more in such a small span of time, but also looking like I've been doing it for a long time.
That's dope.
Slim made me say that. I didn't even think that was going to come to me like that.
So, last question is, how do you lose a battle? This is like a reoccurring.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, it's a reoccurring question. I think it's important, because losing for me was something that was happening so consistent. When I for like a good 10 years of my career as a dancer, it was like losing battles back to back. And I was talking to one of my colleagues about it, and he was saying like, like we would really love to hear people's opinions about losing, because a lot of the young generation of dancers, they quit or they give up because they lose. And then people take losing really hard. They're like, fuck, I'm always losing. I never win. Or
politics too.
And so the aim is to always win, but the truth is, winning is only half of the battle. Like, the more that I've won, the less motivated I started to become for myself, because I started to feel like I'm winning all these battles, but is this what I need to win?
Right.
Because like when you equate the judging is really interesting, because in the street dance world, judging doesn't have a necessary rule. It's like the people judging are judging you based off of their experience as OGs or as dancers, but there's no rules. There's no like, all right, 16 points for this kind of thing, 10 points for this, 10, you know, it's really based on the preference of their knowledge, you know. So then when you win a battle, you're like, oh, this specific judge said I won, so this is what I need to do to win.
Yeah.
So then you start to lose motivation, because
You're not doing it.
you're
for
just
yourself.
exactly. So I'm always curious, like, what is it that you feel like is a way to lose? Like, what's a good healthy way to lose a battle? Maybe more so like a perspective of how to think about losing a battle. Exactly.
By the way, guys, winning hasn't happened yet, and we in that process, as Slim was going through. I find myself always it's funny because I've been in a lot of top 8 situations, and interesting enough, so my first time coming here, my first ever battle here was in Florida, and it was like interesting because it was a 2v2 battle, and somebody found me in there and wanted to dance with me, so I was like, okay. I had a good warm up, you know. I was making sure I was in the right mindset, because I was like, all right, we've been working on this, let's do this. Don't let the music dictate you. But in that process, the music was my biggest fear, because I dance to so much different stuff that I don't nourish that element from myself, because I'm so different that I want to stay different. But it's almost like I'm closing myself off to the regular population to see me. So I lost there. I've lost quite a few. I lost a rock battle recently where I got second place, but I lost because the guy was the owner of the gym. I was out there. It's funny because that battle situation, so I was out there and I ended up losing, but I knew that I was going to lose, even though I did amazing. I felt myself and I felt good about myself, and I was like, oh, I did so amazing. I've came this far, and I've never come this far, actually. And I told myself immediately after my round was over, because I gave everything in every round, and both of my calves cramped up and I couldn't move anymore, and I immediately felt that I was gonna lose, like, for some reason, because I'm like, I never win, you know. And that obviously is not a good mindset to have, guys. And I teach this, and I'm not actually, how do you say, giving it back what I'm teaching. Yeah. And it really dawned on me in that moment after that battle, because I was really angry, because I had recently lost another one where I was like, this isn't making sense. And it was getting to that place, and I was happy that this happened, because as a dancer, these are those moments that change you in a good or a bad way. And I found myself leaning towards the bad side of things, and like, I'm just gonna go back to Europe. I'm not gonna be here no more. I don't want to dance here no more. Like, I can't do this here. But it's like, nah, man, there's something happening here that's getting you in such a way where you need to figure this out. And it's like, I literally was talking to somebody who's like, this is good, actually, because you need to, this is going to happen to you. So many great dancers, especially, you know, like, they lose. And you're making people see this style that people don't know, this movement that people aren't used to where when they see you again, it's like, oh, shit, I see what he's doing here. It's something that is unmatched in the room compared to what we're seeing from every day-to-day movement. So for me, for losing, now my mindset recently, even my last battle at freestyle session against Angel, I wasn't even mad at myself. I think I was more or less like defeated that I allowed the track to not allow me to move in a way, but I was kind of happy still because I was happy with what I was perceiving through my rounds with my movement. Obviously, I didn't make it big enough for the judges and people, but I was happy for myself what I was doing. And I usually, when I'm watching my old rounds and my battles, they don't feel like when I am at home or I'm at a session. It feels like I'm doing everything for the crowd. I'm doing it for the judges. I'm doing it because, I know I'm different. I'm going to try to be different instead of just being my true identity of my movement. And recently that happened when I lost. And it was like, this is a good feeling. I made it to this point. I lost. That's cool. Because you have to get to that place. Even if you lose, you need to know you win because you came, you did what you wanted to do. You stayed true to yourself. And those are supposed to be the main things when you walk in. And that's what helps you get to a place where you win. Knowing like, hey, man, that was a great round. Don't beat yourself up. You're just going back into training. Like, just whatever. Like, don't hold it so heavy on yourself because you keep losing. It's almost like I find myself, whenever I get anxiety attacks, I used to, like, be so scared. And sometimes when they happen now, I'm just like, I'm laughing at it because I'm like, this isn't real. You know what I'm saying? And so even in a battle situation, it's almost like we just got to keep going, baby. We're reminding them. We're reminding ourselves, why are we doing this? Like, hey, you love this. It's your passion. You want to teach for so many different things, and you have to learn yourself. You have to lose. Like, you have to be at the bottom to know what it feels like to get all the way to the top. I need to be at the very bottom. I wouldn't have it any other way because my whole life's been that struggle like that. I want to climb that way. So.
Yeah. Well, thank you, bro. Yeah.
Thank you.
And what you said is real, man. That's important to understand what it feels like to be on the bottom. Like, you can't really receive blessings if you've never felt what it's like to not have any blessings, Like, how do you receive something good if you've never felt like, it's funny. Like when people are very wealthy and they have so much money, like as kids, they don't know the value of money unless they lose everything. But if you've already never had anything at all, and you start to get money, you value it so much more and you take care of it so much more, because it's something you've never experienced before.
Right, and then it doesn't become a thing that's addictive because you already never had it, so you're able to give it to somebody and you're just like, hey, this is what it is.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of the game. And like, I know you really like Dragon Ball a lot, so it was like, when I was listening to you, I was like, technically Goku never won anything. He never really wins. He wins his fights. He wins his fights as a different part of himself. But the Goku himself never wins. He's always training, and to bring that other side of him to win. So the Super Saiyan him wins, or the Ultra Instinct part of himself wins, but the actual Goku never wins. And that's I think that's the beauty of knowing how to lose. Yeah.
Hey, that's deep today, guys.
Yeah, this was a good one. Thank you everybody for watching. Thank you, Hyperbolic. Did you want to plug in your Instagram?
I would love that. I would love that.
Your IG.
Yeah, guys, you can, there's only actually, if you type my name in, only one Hyperbolic Q, which is so awesome. You can find me on YouTube like that too. There's nobody else that's Hyperbolic Q. Thank you, Lord, for that. Also, teaching, loving it, honoring it, and to be next to Slim is just what we talking about, baby. We're only going up from this point, mentally, physically, everything. So you can find me on IG, Hyperbolic _Q.
Yeah.
We in there.
Yeah.
Get your drip route.
Yo, thank you, bro.